All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those clear obstacles on my path to liberation and nations, may the experience happiness be separate from suffering, and safely ever establish them in the state of unsurpassed perfectly ever establish them in the state of unsurpassed perfect complete precious Buddhahood. All mothers and beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those clear obstacles on my path to liberation and nations, may the experience happiness be separate from suffering and safely. Always to reach them in the state of unsurpassed perfect complete and precious Buddhahood. The Lord don't worship no worship Torba dom dom je je bala barde ju bara zeba dom je je zor zebe manam ga dan yambe zemjen dom je dewa dan dev dongara dan ran yorda lana neba yanda bara zobe zanjo rumbuj to barzo. Thus, until achieving enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the excellent perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas, Dhakinis, Dhamma gardens, possessors, eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embodied enlightenment and progress on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to Bodhicitta, and apply myself to accomplish this stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be suffered from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. We skip the long sada branch prayer, 7 branch prayer, going to short mandala offering. The ground is sprinkling with the scented water, stirred with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spring mountain, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha fair, offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness as Buddha fairs. To the Lama who possesses the three kayas, I offer altar, inner and sacred offerings with my body, wealth, and all that is visible. Please grant me supreme realization, enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseech, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all these are dedicated. Om Guru Rina Mandala Panjamanga Samanda Savarana Samaye Ahom. I echo refuge, O name of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are victor Vajradhara, without doubt. I bow at the feet of Father Jekti Sungong. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassion, Devan, grant your blessings. Dispel darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unliberated nature of mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the two vehicles and the combination according to disposition and likewise mental capacity of sentient beings. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of clouds of two worlds, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart. He has compassion for all beings who suffering from the darkness of ignorance and the prison of samsara as a father for only son. Like the thunderclaps, he wakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramani speech. He wears the wisdom silver to cut settling of suffering and to dispel darkness of confusion. And the Bodhisattva form is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Manjushri, adorned by the 112 son of Buddha, to dispel darkness of my ignorance. Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade. Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Arapasannade, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, 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 Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, 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 Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram, Om Angeshwaram. Om Angeshwaram.
Kempo, we don't have any sound.
We cannot hear
Wisdom
you.
blesses and dispel darkness of worldly ignorance are posted before you and pressed to Manjushri. Tangke doje shaje reizan rong yin je me do de je bong jong ba. Serje lembo tawar jibe ge shaje jarbe jal. Gerzan ze dorje janjen delo. Narodai marba malai jije gambo ba. Amoy rubai yarwa indi gongbe. Gaju lama nam lai zorwan de rome jije yanje bodani. Tizom sanje genje ngobo nye. Ransem jige ngozon donzebe. Sawe lame jabla guzanze. Can you hear in the zone? Yes?
Yes, we can hear you,
We can
Kempo. Can
hear
you hear
now.
us?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
So, no.
No, he cannot
Okay.
hear us.
Better? Good.
Correct.
Thank you. So now I'm going to share with you, it's called the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. I think most of you are here yesterday, right? I can see some not here yesterday. Also here more new people too. So just I'm going to keep going, continue the following yesterday. So this 37 practice of Bodhisattva. has two sections. The basic practitioners, using the for beginner meditator or practitioners, and then more already has compassion, have bodhicitta, and then their action, their activity. So two sections for our beginner level and more practitioner level. So yesterday we started the first verses to 10 verses. So that all the section is for more beginning level. And then starting verses 10 to or 37 is for more bodhisattvas action, bodhisattvas activity. So bodhisattva as the main point is, only thinking about others, wanted to benefit for others, wanted to liberate, helping for other beings. They don't think their own benefit much. Yeah, so all action is for doing everything for others. So that's called the bodhisattvas. Then bodhisattva has actually two different levels. So we call relative truth bodhisattva and absolute truth bodhisattva. Relative truth bodhisattva, also you can take vows, and from the teacher, gurus, like from them you can take vows. You can promise, like, I'm going to take vow and I wanted to have others do something good things for others. You can take the vows. So that's vow is called relative truth bodhisattva. And absolute truth bodhisattva, through the realization, you naturally have vows. So you cannot really take from the others. And you practice, then you reach the level realization. So when you realize the level, bodhisattva level, then you're not thinking about yourself, like always thinking about others, wanted to benefit for others. So that's arise there through their practice and the realization. And then we call absolute truth bodhisattva. So in this 37 practice bodhisattva, yesterday also I talked with you, we cannot practice all this whole thing, okay? If you can, then you are already bodhisattva. So not relative truth bodhisattva. If you can this practice, you have become absolute truth bodhisattva. And then you no longer suffering in samsara. If you can use this practice, what I'm sharing here. But right now we are in the relative truth level, so we have to cultivate this. And if good is, if you read once one day, and when you wake up morning, so that's what we do in the monastery. All monks gathering together, we have to read this once together. And then that really helps. Whole day, like you can cultivate loving kindness, really help for your mindful. So also you can do, think about it, this one has 37 verses. Which one is really used for you? So you write down that verses and put in your bedrooms, or you're in living room, or you're in the car. So then that really help you, mindful reminding every single day, you can use that practice. So that's why this have 37 verses. So you individually need different verses, important. Also, some days, day, month, year, everything is always changing. So also you need different verses, not always one. And you know all these different verses, you can use, when you really need. So that's why I share with you this electronic copy. You can make copy. And if you have good is, you can read the whole thing one day, every day. If you can't do that, but you pick up the important verses and, reminding yourself, put in your bedrooms somewhere, you can, connect with this teaching and practice. Then also in our life, always change. Yeah, life is no same as in this flow. Life is like up and down all the time. So then different situations we get. So then you can find something, solution for your suffering, your problem, your obstacles from in this 37 practice, Bodhisattva. So you can find a solution from this 37, your problem, suffering, then you can take your problem, suffering is on the path. So that means like sufferings, problems, not really affected to you. And that make you become more strong, and there become the suffering problem going to change your life more beautiful way, more useful way. So then suffering problem really helps become our causes of happiness. Otherwise, like suffering is a suffering, right? And problem is a problem, it's a negative. We don't want that. We want happiness. But even we want happiness, due to our karma and ignorance, we don't have a choice. We always facing two problems, sufferings. So when suffering problems arise, comes, and then you use this 37 practice, suffering problem, you can become transformed, change to causes of happiness. So that's this practice. The main point is. And then, many practitioners use this technique. They use, and then they transform their suffering, become their practitioner, and we can say that these practitioners, transform suffering problem never affected become to them. So this 37 practices really truly is a protection. We have many different in the worldly protections. In the worldly we have many different protections. Everything is temporary. Sometimes our worldly protections not really useful. When you need it, it's not there. So worldly protection, you have to maintain that. It's very hard. Yeah. So example, like we have to buy the insurance. So you have to pay every single month, right? So that's kind of, protection, maybe not useful, and also very temporary. So this 37 practice of Bodhisattva's true protection, the protecting in this life, protecting future lives too. So this practice brings true happiness within our own mind and heart. So that's why this practice really transforms the life. And who use this practice and become the person is more happiest person. And the person has more tolerant, patient, love, compassion. So suffering problem not affected to them. So that's also we can do, followed by, other practitioners. So today we are in the verses, I think 17 or 18 something. See, it's verses 18, right? Yeah, we are in the verses 18.
Yes, that's correct, Khenpo.
So this each verses is a slightly, different aspect of the benefit. Some is more focused for attachment, reduce attachment, antidote to attachment. Some verses antidote to our ignorance. Some verses antidote to our pride or jealousy, or different levels there has. So this verses 18 is also this one transformed our suffering. Verses 18 is transforming the suffering. Though you lack what you need and are constantly disparaged, afflicted by dangerous sickness and spirits, without discouragement, take on the misdeeds and the pain of all living beings. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this Bodhisattva has a courage, Also this suffering problems not affected to them. So suffering problem, when they come to them, they use the suffering problem taking to the path. So they use this way. Though you like what you need and are constantly disparaged, means like we have many obstacles, problems comes, and so also see here says constantly disparaged, and also people like push down us, and what we want we don't get, and we get facing to so many challenges, and also sickness, also many obstacles, problems. So this kind of many, diversity suffering comes. Sickness, spirits, also obstacle, other human being, invisible beings create obstacle, problem for you, or invisible beings. Some, called spirits. And that kind of, whatever you get problem, without discouragement, means Bodhisattva never lost courage. They never lost hopes. And ordinary people, they lost courage. And they also then they take the life, suicide. So we know that, right? And Bodhisattva, who use this 37 practice Bodhisattva, they never lost hope. They use that, all the problem, suffering, is taking to the path. How to they take to the path? Taking on the misdeeds and the pain of all living beings. So they meditate, called Tongli meditation. I don't know, you heard that before? Tongli means like giving and taking. So through compassion and taking other beings' suffering, and through your love, giving your kindness or love for others, sharing for others. So when Bodhisattvas get sick and suffering, and they take all other beings' suffering, so they meditate, representing all other beings' suffering. So then they generate more compassion for others. So that's why here says, so, taking on the misdeeds and the pain of all living beings. So this section has also different levels, meditation, like followed by individual level. My teacher, Garche Rinpoche, he used some different levels when this, Tongli meditation. He used different levels. Generally, like very simple way. And when we in here, taking all other beings' suffering through, taking other beings' suffering through compassion. Exhale, sharing love, kindness for others, and sending so good energy or good healing, kind, love, sending to others. So that's the very basic way to meditate, basic way. If you see someone suffering and you close eye, just meditate, then think about all this others suffering is taking. So you think, meditate, taking all mother sentient beings suffering. And then you sending exhale with like loving, kind, healing for that person. So that also, and the method we generate love and compassion. So if you use that practice that way, then you actually purify their karma, purify our negative karma too. So someone is suffering, they also due to some karma is happening for them, negative karma is happening for them. And you use suffering beings, you generate love and compassion, so the suffering beings really helping us liberating, because that beings helping us generate and love compassion ourselves. When love compassion arise in our heart, so then our energy, positive spiritual energy is liberating. I mean, the negative karma also liberating. And so positive energy is arising. That's why, in the Buddhist text, we use lots suffering beings. Also, they talk about a lot of samsara is a suffering, right? Suffering beings. Reason is because you use these suffering beings, you can generate love and compassion. So you cannot create love, compassion for someone who has a better life than us. I mean, like worldly level, You cannot arise compassion to could be someone who successful business and worldly level, or very hard to arise compassion your president and the kings. So we can easily arise compassion for someone suffering. So then suffering beings really helping us, they're liberating. We have to use that energy. We have to use that object to create love and compassion ourselves. So we have to take that opportunity, actually. When we see the suffering beings, we have to take opportunity, even you close eye and sending love, compassion, or you chant mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, sending this energy to them. And then they also helps purify their karma. And we help them, they're also naturally helping us, because they put us in the for practice loving kindness. So that's why we have to use the suffering beings. And that's a very simple way to Tongli meditation. Then another level Tongli meditation, Garchen Rinpoche, he shares. So when he was in the prison, 760 to 80, and Tibet has cultural revolutionary that time, he went to the jail. So he used in the jail this Tongli meditation. So his teacher is called Khenpo Minser. He shared for Garchen Rinpoche that meditation. And that time, how do we use? They use, in here, when in here, so they're taking other beings, causes of suffering is self-grasping. Meditating, taking self-grasping, other beings self-grasping. Within here, visualize meditating the, like same as oil, something drink, you drink oil like gasoline, something like in here with go into all other beings grasping is bring into your drink and go into your body. The visualize, meditate, and the navel level, the fire flame. And the gasoline is heated too in the fire flame, then it's explosion, right? So exploding all the other beings self-grasping. And then with this explosion is heat, it's the same as love create, kindness, same as the fire heat. And exhale, sending love is the same as the heat, fire, to others, like other beings self-grasping, the same is like ice block. So fire, heat sending to others, melting, same as ice block self-grasping. And so they use that technique, meditate. So that is a little bit more deeper level than the first what we share. The deeper level reason is because that focus for the cause, not the result. Taking the causes of suffering, and a more deeper level. So that's also another level you can take other beings suffering. When we get sick, so when we in here, we taking all beings sickness, bring to us like representative other beings sickness. Then exhale, so release all the sickness other beings, and release our sickness, negative karma. So that's the another level way to meditate in this level. So it's called the Tongli meditation. And then go to more deeper level is called Mahamudra Tongli meditation. So Mahamudra Tongli meditation is not really in here and exhale. So we have to recognize every single being is same nature, one nature. And then, just be in the nature repass state. You must be in the non-draw state, meditate. So that's called another level, highest level Tongli meditation. So no subject, no object. But here is this sharing teaching is so relative level, not the non-draw Tongli meditation. This one is followed by our relative level. We need subject and object use. So if we does that practice, then our suffering is transformed, and the suffering is become useful. Suffering is useful because you generate your suffering is like love and compassion, causes of love and compassion. So love, compassion arise in our heart. Then this suffering is not really affected to our for our life. No suffering, no affected to us. So that's why when we get suffering, difficulty, you think about these verses. It's really helpful. Change life to, beautiful way, Bodhisattva life. So the main point is Bodhisattvas never lost courage. Whatever gets suffering, difficult in this life, they never lost courage. So they use their suffering is create more practice. So that's we have many examples, many teachers' story, and they get difficulty, suffering, everything is used, that suffering is take to the path. So then verses 19. So verses 19 is reduce our ego. Though you become famous and many bow to you, and you gain riches equal to Vishwanas. So we have power also, become famous, something happen, and people, everybody like you, everybody follow you, everybody bow down to you. So then, or you have like lots, gain riches equal into Vishwanas means like riches. So that worldly fortune is without essence. We have to recognize the worldly, the fortune, famous or whatever going on, is actually not true essence there. And we have to recognize everything's the same as, dreaming and delusion. Don't get pride and ego, right? Have to recognize this worldly fortune is without essence and be unconceived. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So then the 20, verses 20 is very important. Who has anger, the verses 20 transform the anger. Wire the enemy, your own anger is not subdued, though you conquer external force, they will only increase. Therefore, with the malita of love and compassion, subdue your own mind. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So, wire the enemy, your own anger. So if we don't subdue our own anger, then it's not subdued. So we try to subdue our enemies, object. Though you conquer external force, they will only increase, then they will become increase. You subdued one enemy and arise two enemies. You subdued two enemies, like arise four. You subdued four, is arise 8. Then becomes more enemies. So that's why here, very simple. And you wanted to subdue others, we have to subdue our crazy mind, anger. And as long as you control your mind, you control whole world. If we don't control our crazy own mind, then everything's a problem. So that's why Shantideva is a very famous teacher. He wrote a book, it's called Way of Bodhisattva. And he's from Nalanda University. The Nalanda University is called first university in the world. And he was there, but he's not teacher that time. So he's only eat, he go restaurant and go to sleep. And he does 3 things. He don't do any other than that. So then university board members are really upset. They wanted to fire him, but he has background is king's prince. He's king's princess. So they're scared. If the university fire Shantideva, and then king can be angry. If king's angry, then can be destroy whole university. So that's why they don't know how to do with that guy, Shantideva. And then the discussion, all the board members together, and they talked about in the university about the idea is that going to ask them to share the teaching. So that means like every month have to share teaching. Then Shantideva, that thing, he going to run away because he going to study Dharma, and he don't know the teaching, so he cannot share, and he go to run away. No need to fire, he just go himself, run away from the university. So that's the idea. And then when Shantideva was ready to share the teaching, and he come to the throne, and he say, I'm going to share with you teaching, what you wanted to listening. Already Buddha talked one, or he didn't share something new. And it means actually, of course, Buddha's teaching, but not follow the book, He have his own teaching. So everybody asked him, share something new. And then he shared the way of Bodhisattva, very famous teaching. So when we go to the monastery, university, the 1-year subject, so we have to learn that book and study. It's always this 37 Buddhist, so this also come from that book, Shantideva's teaching. So what Shantideva mentioned in the way of Bodhisattva, he says, you cannot subdue all the enemies. We have to subdue our own mind. So you cannot cover earth's carpets, right? You put shoes in your feet. And as long as you put shoes in your feet, same as like put carpets all the world. So you can go everywhere then. You don't put the shoes in your feet. Then you say, I have to put the carpets where I'm going, That is not possible, right? You think possible or no? Not possible, right? Better easy, just put shoes into your feet. Then you can go everywhere, not going to hurt. So Same, we subdued our anger, and then everyone is like our loved ones, friend, become. And if we don't control our crazy mind, we don't subdue our mind, then we pointing for others' problem all the time. It's never end, never going to finish. They never get happy. So if you subdue one enemy, then two enemies arise. So you subdue 100 enemies, like 300, 400 enemies arise. So that's why it's a war. And all the history, think about human beings, all the time, like due to anger, jealousy, try to subdue someone, but then, create so much suffering each other. So that's the reason, main point here is we have to subdue our own anger, and we have to subdue our own crazy mind. So long as we control our crazy mind, subdue our own mind, then we are conquer already everything. So that is called Buddha. Buddha Shakyamuni, when he enlightened, and his father asked him to come back his palace. So he accepted, he went back to his palace. The Buddha has this one son, before he went to spiritual journey, he has a son. So his son told his mother, why is my father is different than anyone in the palace? Because he don't need anything, warping is his body. And every other people has a warping knife, the dressing cloth is beautiful, but he don't need anything this. But when he comes, he's, no one can compare him. What is that happening? So his mother told, the Buddha son's mother told the son, he control his mind. That's why, and no one can compare him. He control his mind, he control everything ready. So the point is here, long as we, subdue our mind, then everything is become loved ones. So the use our, love and compassion, so have to subdue the others. Means like through love and compassion, subdue your own mind. Therefore, with the malita of love and compassion, subdue your own mind. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Make sense or no? Yeah. So when anger arises, think about this, okay? Who has issue with anger? So please put in your room this one. This verse is very important, I think. You think so? Yeah, I really like it, this one. So then we go to 21. Okay, 21 is very good for also attachment. You're going to buy too much all the time, so think about these verses. Yeah, if you have enough what you want, need, but then sometimes like you not looking for what you need, you wanting, wanting is endless. So if you have that problem, we have to think these verses. Sensual pleasures are like salty water. The more you indulge, the more thirsty increase. Do you know that salty water you drink and you are more thirsty? Yes? Okay, so then this is correct, yeah? Okay, so abandon at once those things which breed clinging attachment. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So same salty water you drink more, you more thirsty. If you use desire more and more desire, so desire is endless. So that's why you always just recognize what you really need. You don't follow by what you wanting. Wanting is endless, never end. So human beings' problem is a desire. Our desires never end, never satisfy. So if we first, we want one house, one car, right? But then you have one house, one car, you want two houses, you want two cars. And then you have two, but then you want to four, three also not enough. You going to again like double four. And then you have four car, four houses, then you want like each city in the country want a house. And then you have each city, your country have a house, then you want a house every world, every country has, So that's the desire, right? And our desires never end. So good is a satisfaction. I think satisfaction is very important. If we don't have satisfaction, then desires never end, never happy, never joy. Whatever we have, never joy, never happy. So long as you have satisfied, then even you have a small room, small house, or small car or bicycle, what you have, you enjoy, that. So that's why desire here talking about like whatever you own, you never get happy. So you get more and more, you become more suffering and more suffering. So we create ourselves suffering. So many, like the worldly people do that, right? We know that. Then life is like miserable suffering. No, they don't have a happy and joy if too much go to desire. And we have to follow our life is like balance, not two extremes. So if you go too much poverty and then also suffering. If you don't take care of your one house, one car, or one family, then that's also a problem, one job. Yeah. If you're wanting so many, that's also a problem. So that's why Buddha said really very clearly, don't go to extremes. Don't go to extremes. It's like one is desire, too much desire follow. Then you don't have a good life. It's suffering life. Then you don't have time to with your family. You don't have time to eat. You don't have time to sleep. You are really serving for your desire object things. Become, you are true serving. If you go to another hand, poverty, and you don't take care of your life correctly, then that's also a problem. Really suffering. That's why we have to go balance is very important. So if you have a problem, too much desire, so this one is really good. Write down into your bedroom or living room where you sleep and take with you this. If you go to shopping, you buy too much, take this with you. So then this helps you, I think. You think so? Yeah. That's the practice of bodhisattvas. 22. So 22 is for more this focus for the view. So the teaching has followed by conduct and meditation, view. So some part is talk about more conduct and good morality, and some section talk about more meditation, how to you meditate, like using that practice. The some section, some teachings focus more view. So this is a view. Your view is the most important one. Whatever appears is your own mind. Your mind from the start was free from fabricated extremes. Understand this. Do not take to mind inherent sense of subject and object. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So this, going to when you meditate, and all this appearance, whatever appearance, we have to recognize all the appearance is our own mind. Same is like dreaming. When you have a dream, so all the dream is arising from your mind. And your dream is not any other than your mind. So dream object is, if the dream object is not your mind, then when you go sleep in the bedroom, you have a dream like maybe elephant, example. Elephant cannot fit into your room, right? So that's why, dream is like we recognize is our mind projected. Is our own perception. So same, when we wake up, we don't recognize all this object, our appearance is our own mind, is we don't recognize. So that's why we fixation to the object, grasping to the object. And as long as you fixation, grasping to the object, then the all object is become, causes of samsara. We call samsara. I think you understand samsara means. Samsara is a cyclic existence. So that's why we take birth again and again. If you want to free from the lobe of samsara, then you have to use this practice. This one is more higher than what we share. So far we went finish like 21 verses. So other 21 verses is part of a method we generate love and compassion. But this one is called wisdom. It's more deeper level. And this, cut the love of samsara. You go beyond in that. If you have a strong perception, fixation to this object, external things, like we don't recognize it, our mind is projected, then arise fixation, attachment. So in this one is, more deeper level reason is, long as you recognize all is your mind is appear to all this object, and then fixation to that, you no longer attached to that. And all this appearance is dissolving into your mind. So that's why, meditation practitioner, meditator use two techniques, two main important techniques. So when they meditate, they recognize all this appearance is our own mind. Recognize all these appearances no inherently permanently exist there. So then mind is no longer fixation attached to the object. So then appearance, whatever is there is no problem. Appearance is not causes of samsara become. And then you looking into your mind also emptiness. So subject or appearance is emptiness. Object appearance is emptiness. Also looking onto our own mind also emptiness. Subject, object, both are emptiness. The both are not truly inherently exist. So both are not truly inherently exist. Then mind, nature, it is empty. Then it's called clear awareness. It's called nature ripa. So that's when you meditate, I think only you get this experience. But right now we talk very hard to you get idea, understand, because our mind's fixation to this appearance. Then appearances you recognize is the same as delusion, dreaming, no fixations. Your mind is no longer, stuck that object. And then you looking into your mind is so emptiness. So subject, object, both are emptiness. That's why here says, see, whatever appears is your own mind. Whatever arising is our own mind. Your mind from the start was free from fabricated extremes. So mind also is free from fabricated extremes. Mind also exist, no exist, neither, either, or free from that state. So that's called mind nature. Mind is not physically inherently exist there. Mind also emptiness. So if you understand this, do not take the mind inherent sense of subject and object. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So long as you recognize all appearance is the same as delusion, dreaming, you no longer fixation attached to this appearance object. And then you recognize your mind also emptiness, then you are free from all these extremes. So it's called then liberation. So it's the most important when we meditate, recognize all appearances arising from mind, and appearances not inherently exist there. So the appearance is arising there, but not truly exist there externally, because arising from our mind projecting. And then your mind is no fixation to grasping to the object, okay? And then you looking into your own mind, you see your own mind also empty. Your mind is empty, but it's awareness. It is clear, present. So you recognize that, then your mind is become, nothing stuck with any extremes there. Your mind is free from all the extremes. So that is called liberation, arising, come from liberation. If we don't knowing this, we, love, compassion, also this other practice can take to very higher realms, but still cannot enlightened without wisdom. So with wisdom and love, compassion method have to go together. They cannot separate. So that's why your mind creates love, kindness, compassion. And also we have to recognize all these external objects also not truly inherently exist. Your mind is no grasping to any object. And then you look to your mind, also emptiness. So you see your mind is empty, and then you meditate. Its mind is no nothingness. It's always present. It is clarity. Emptiness, awareness, inseparable. So that's long as you recognize that, then we say we recognize our own nature. So that's why this is called more deeper level is wisdom teaching. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Okay, so this if you have a very strong fixation to object, grasping, then you use this one, recognize all the appearances not truly inherently exist, their mind projected. Then if you think your mind is always there, my mind is permanent, I and the self is permanent, then that's also incorrect. I and the self is not exist there, because I and the self is a delusion. You investigate yourself, you're starting from your crown to end feet, you cannot find any located I and the self exist. This I self is not exist. Then you are free from subject, you are free from object. So you can be realized. So that's this important section. So then next one, 23. 23 is reduce attachment. When you encounter attractive objects, though they seem beautiful like a rainbow in summer, don't regard them as rare and give up attachment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So you have a problem with, strong attached to someone, or, like female attached to me attached to female, like that, or you attach to car or house, a cloth, right? Something, any object. So if you have recognized that's your problem, then you use these verses. I think this verses helps you. When you encounter attractive objects, though they seem beautiful, like a rainbow in summer. So rainbow summer is not that stay too long, right? It's very short term. It is beautiful, but no essence. It's don't stay too long. So that's why you're seeing some object, attractive object, but that also impermanent, not permanent. Don't regard them as rare and give up attachment. So give up attachment. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas don't attach to the object, and this, their mind is not stuck there through attachment, stuck with a beautiful object because they recognize object is impermanent. 24. All forms of suffering are like a child's death in a dream. Holding illusory appearance to be true make you weary. Okay, so this 23 is you have like something problem attached object. You use this verse is really helpful. Okay, you reduce attachment, we are not suffering. You are free from suffering. Attachment bring you suffering, bring you like heart. You know how to call heartbroken. Yeah, attachments. You so strong attach fixation, then you get heartbroken. So that's why you use this technique, and you don't get heartbroken. If you already heartbroken, you use this one. You can fix your heartbroken. Okay. So then 24. If you have problems, something really big problem going on with your family, relatives, job, or your conditions, think about this one. You can let go of your problem. All forms of suffering are like a child's death in a dream. So, see, suffering are like a child's death in a dream. So, think about like when we was born until now. Everyone, facing challenging with many difficulty sufferings. So now you think about this or your suffering, what you've been through. It's the same as dreaming. Yeah. Just know is you can just memorize, like think that, but not really exist there. So the same, right now you have something challenging, difficulty, facing to suffer difficulty. So that's also, you think this way, suffering are like a child's death in a dream. It's the same as a dreaming delusion, So when we was young, example, and maybe you have a siblings, your siblings, fighting each other, maybe something going on. And right now we think about, go back to think about that, that's the same as dreaming. Nothing is really important there. And then when we went to like kindergarten, and then with the student, like we have a so strong fixation, attachment each other. I mean, like you have issues, problems there. So now you look back that situation, it's the same as a dream and a delusion. And then, you go to high school, university, or you think that situations, what happens is that time we have a very strong fixation, attach something important, but now you really look back, it's the same as the dream and the delusions. And you recognize that, and right now what you're facing, challenges, something going on, you recognize the same as like previous suffering. And then you think that your mind is really opened. So right now your suffering problem is you can release. And not that strong hold you. Because sometimes the suffering problem is we create, due to our fixation. So your mind is so strong fixation, grasping, then, even problem is very small, but we create, like we fear is so strong, very heavy, due to our self-grasping fixation. So you use this method, your mind is become more relaxed, open. You really recognize, that problem is not really big problem. Even it's a problem, but you don't get hurt. You can let go. Or use these techniques. Your mind is more relaxed and no fixation to that much. And then you have more idea. Do you understand? So if I am anger very strong, no solution I can find. If I have very strong attachment, desire, no solution I can find because everything is blocked, or your positive energy or idea, your wisdom is not there, is blocked. And you use this one, all is suffering like child's death and dreams. Naturally, your energy is moving and wisdom is arising. Do you understand? Your mind become more relaxed. So then you have more ideas how to fix your problems. If your mind is so strong fixation attached to that problem, suffering, then you don't have ideas. You cannot find the solutions. If you find a solution, something, you can make more problem. Because our mind is so strong fixation attached, and more anger arise. Do you understand what I'm talking? So that's why we have to create more relax. Use this practice. And if you use again and again, when you read all forms of suffering like a child's death and dream, you can many your problem suffering is you can put in the trash. Because we create so many problems ourselves, just holding there, even not important. We just pick up trash and put in our own bags, carry, right? So then you throw away. You don't have to carry. Like very helpful these verses. Holding illusory appearances to be true make you wary. So we see we are always like this way. Holding illusory appearances to be true makes you wary. Therefore, when you meet with disagreeable circumstances, see them as illusory. So we have to recognize all these illusory delusions. And also you can use this technique is when you inhale and you look to yourself, it's like your form is a delusion. Okay? With inhale, the breath really support you. When you have the problems, like use this meditation, inhale. Look to your form is a delusion, called delusion form body. And you don't see I and the self is exist permanent there. You recognize your form is impermanent, compound of phenomena, emptiness. And then whatever you hold is you can release. Exhale. All the appearances you recognize is the same as this illusory. Your problem is you recognize the same as illusory, Suffering is recognized illusory. So then you can transform all the suffering. So them as illusory. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. This is 24. So now we go to 25th. Starting from here is called the 6 perfections. Six perfection. First one is generosity. When those who want enlightenment must give even their body, there is no need to mention external things. So the bodhisattvas, goal is enlightenment. So the goal is enlightenment, and then they wanted to enlightenment. That's why they can give up everything, even they can give up their own bodies for benefit for others. And that's the reason, other regular object is no cautions. So bodhisattva can give up. So we can give up everything or no? No, right? Yeah, so that's why what Buddha says, you have to meditate, like your right hand give it to left hand. Yeah, your left hand give it to right hand, and we have to practice, meditate. because our self-grasping is very strong. And the generosity is an antidote to self-grasping. Self is like holding. Generosity is giving, right? These two cannot be together. It's contradict each other. So that's why, beginner right now, our level, so harder to give like importing object things. If we give importing object something we really need, you give, you regret. If long as you get regret, then your object giving accumulation merit is decreasing. So generosity power is decreasing. Not much benefit. So that's why generosity, we have to practice our mind first. And you can give right hand to left hand to right hand. And then you can give it to your kids, maybe your loved ones. Yeah, kids like giving to parents, right? Parents give it to kids. Or husband give it to wife, wife give it to husband. Like, you create a little bit more letting go and more relax, sharing for others, share. And then you can do like something, you have extra things. You recognize, oh, I'm not needed this really. And why I hold this so many things here, And then you giving that object for others. So generosity become your minds opened. We recognize, some people don't really need. They're holding so many things. It's no room, house. It's like, or it's junk actually. Or some things like you never touch, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you never used, but you wanting all the time holding. Then you have to pay for that space to hold, right? Yeah, it's suffering, it's crazy. So people who don't share things, they don't recognize everything that they bring into home, they restore, storing, right? Put in the storage. And they really don't need. They don't recognize it, they don't need because due to desire attachment, they don't want to let go. If you hold that in your storage, what benefit? No benefit. Actually, you lose your space. And some people have to rent the space to hold that, right? And have to pay money to do that. So then some things like you never use, like maybe 10 years. So they don't recognize it, they don't need. Then where they're going to take? When they die, they can take with these things? No, right? They cannot take. So when we're born with this body together, but when we die, this body also cannot take with us. So we cannot take anything with us. Only if your generosity, that merit is come with you. So that's why you do generosity, like sharing something, your mind is more opened. I think comes open. Then you really see what you really need, what you don't need. So which one you don't need, you can share for others. And so that helps also clean your home too. Yeah, so you don't need so many junk inside your home, right? Some people don't recognize all the junks bring to in the home and no space to move. So that's why, Buddha, what he says, you sharing right hand to left hand, then giving to for loved ones. Then you can share for others, like if you have extra things, if you don't need, you share for others, give to others. That really helps become minds opened. So then you giving that, become you used to that, and then your generosity, giving, sharing is you happy and joy. So the happy joy comes in your heart. And that time then your generosity is going to be successful. So generosity is like you don't need to fix all the poverties. Okay, generosity means like your mind is happy to share, giving for others, you joy, then happy arise in your heart. So that's called generosity practice. hoarding is like causes of suffering, sharing is become causes of happiness. And then also generosity, even not only benefit this life, right? Having future life, people have different levels, like because some even born same parents, and some is very successful, some is very hard, whatever do work hard, very hard to get things for for the life maintaining, very hard, because that's just due to previous life generosity. So that's why Buddha says all happiness in the human beings, happiness is due to also material things. The material things, where is it really come from? Is come from generosity. So now it's like some, do business like very easily successful. We don't see that what they create causes previous life. We see only this life they do something, but there has something previous life generosity connection. So that's why they can be successful. Otherwise everybody can be successful, right? So everyone cannot be successful because everyone follow the karma. And the karma also we can create in this life too. Sometimes people think everything is karma, then we don't need to work hard. So that's a misunderstand. Everything is karma, then that's why we have to work hard. If you do, you get a good result. Do you understand? And you sharing things, like when you naturally have good accumulation, like something happen, you is successful. And so we also did some good generosity, good merit, like that's why we take birth human beings, good conditions. And now you put more effort, do something, then you also get more, future life. Everything is due to karma, means like we create, put effort. If you go study very hard, you get good education. Yeah. If you don't study hard, you don't get good education. That's also karma. Karma means, you do, you get. You don't do, you don't get. So then karma is not only this life. Karma means like also previous life, this life, future life, so many things going on there. If you're thinking about the karma cause and the effect is only this life, then no make sense. Karma means like previous life, many life, and this life, future life going on. We don't know, sometimes like something really successful that is we did in this life or previous life, karma coming, So that's why karma have to do something, we have to create. The Buddha also says like we are our own creator. We create ourselves through our body, speech, mind, No one create us. We create our own karma through our body, speech, mind. We use this our body, speech, mind correctly, and we can create a good karma. So now use this generosity. It really helps your minds become more relaxed and happy, joy. I think bring benefit in this life, future life. So also I always share like this example. If you're giving something for someone really need, and you think you're helping really for them, but actually they're really helping us. Because sometimes very hard to we give, share, but you see someone really need, then you give it to them, they're really helping us create accumulation merit, and they create like practice generosity. So without them, we cannot perfection of generosity, cannot create that merit or practice. If we wanted to practice generosity, we needed the object, right? Someone to help us. So that's why Buddha says enlightenment is not come from Buddha. Enlightenment is come from Buddha and all other beings. So if I wanted to enlightenment, I only bow down to Buddha Shakyamuni, and I don't care other sentient beings, not possible to go into enlightenment, okay? So giving generosity, morality, participation, everything is dependent like other beings. We cannot give generosity Buddha. We cannot create morality with Buddha. Morality means good conduct, no harming for others. So we cannot practice that with Buddha. We cannot practice patience with Buddha. So all this object is other sentient beings. So other beings liberating us. We need these other beings helping us. So that's why if we get, object of generosity, and you really recognize, I have to give this to this person, is that really need, I wanted to give up. So the object is same as Buddha. They're liberating us. Do you understand? So other way in the worldly thinking is the spiritual thinking is different. Worldly level, I give him, I help him. So I'm important for this person because I'm giving him, right? And so I support this person. But spiritual way is other become. The person really helping us more than we help them. Okay, so that's the generosity. And then we go to the next one. It's 26. Without ethics, you can't accomplish your own well-being. So we need ethics means good conduct. It is honest, we are not honest, then people don't believe. We are stealing other things, then people not happy, there no one trust become. So that's why without ethics means if we don't have a good ethics ourselves, then can't accomplish your own well-being. So we cannot accomplish our, and so wanting to accomplish other is liable. It's not possible to benefit others. So that's why reason this ethics is most important. Is we no harming for other beings. No harming for other beings, your intention. Intention is most important. Intention you think intention is incorrect, very bad intention, wanting harm for other, harming for others. Someone suffering, you happy, joy. So that kind of intention is called then no good moral, no good ethics. So that's we have to give up. If we don't give up harming for other beings, we don't get happy and joy ourselves. So then we create love, kindness for others. Everybody's become friend ourselves. Everybody like us. Otherwise liable. Therefore, if we harming for others, then say we benefit others is against each other, right? Benefiting others and harming others is against each other. No, cannot go together. So Dharma is peace. And you harming for other, then it's against the Dharma. So also harming for other is we torture someone, then that we torture someone, that actually we create suffering ourselves. We think we torture people. Also, we see there's someone torture someone, but we think that person is torture someone. He's really bad. We think that, but it's someone who has more clairvoyance, recognize. Actually, they really torture themselves. So other one they get torture is only temporary, but also if the person is Bodhisattva, they can purify karma. So purify karma is my understanding is if you practice Bodhisattva, 37 we use this, and someone torture us, then we can purify karma because you generate love and compassion for that person. You purify our own karma, and we have become more strong. And the torture or suffering is we can use the causes of happiness, enlightenment. Okay, so if we are not using this 37 practice, Bodhisattva, we not practicing any Dharma, we don't generate love and compassion, someone torture us, then we just suffering. Suffering is a suffering, you know. So that's why this practice is very powerful. And example, one person, two people get torture from someone. One person use this 37 practice. One person never use, like so sad, anger, nothing can do. Another person can use this 37 practice, like use love, kind, generous. The love and the kind recognize is purifying karma and taking all other beings suffering. And then that person is liberating. Someone torture for liberation, you know, no suffering. So other don't know how to do that, then that person is suffering. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So that's we have to understand. And this 36 is practice. The 26. Then we go to 27. 27 is to the Bodhisattvas who want a worth of virtue. Those who harm are like a precious treasure. Therefore, towards all cultivate patience without hostility. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So, see, Bodhisattvas, if seeing someone object of generosity, then that recognize their object generosity is treasure. And Bodhisattvas, you know, someone object of passion, the object passion is become treasure for them. Someone, you know, harm for Bodhisattva, the Bodhisattva recognizes that person is a treasure. So who are harmed are like precious treasures. We can do that or no? Here is no one can, but I'm going to ask in the Zom Sangha. We have many people in the Zom, so in the Zom, anyone can do that? We don't know, they cannot talk. Okay. So, so this, you know, also the adya means like sometimes like we think enemy is really harming for someone, right? Enemy or harming us. We thinking suffering. But if you use Bodhisattva practice, actually we are no loser, okay? Practitioners are no loser. The enemy is really loser. You know, who tortured that person is really loser. And who get tortured, that person, if they use this technique practice, they're no loser, they are winner. You understand, yeah? Because everything is go to other way. If long as you use this technique practice Bodhisattva. So Bodhisattva practice is no same as ordinary path, right? Ordinary beings, the worldly people thinking. And the worldly people, adya is against actually spiritual practice. So worldly, you know, we think it's like doing great, it's a winner, but spiritually that person is a loser. And think about all the presidents, country presidents, they are really suffering, they are really losers. When they get election winner, but actually really losers. They get suffering when you get that seat, right? I recognize it's a suffering seat. And you just think about in the US president, they go to 4 years office after they're extremely old, within 4 years. You know, same is almost 10, 15 years, 4 years is. So when they go to White House, it's like no gray hair, maybe no any wrinkles. But when they come back from 4 years after, it's gray hair and all wrinkles, and it's already like really old. So they recognize they are suffering, but everybody wants suffering, right? You mean these politicians? Okay, that's good then. Maybe they are better than other countries. Okay. See, I don't know. If they're really good seat and good things, they can stay maybe longer, but it's very temporary in these UK cities. Like 2 months, like 1 year, 2 years. That means like they're not really stable job there. It's really suffering job, I think. Okay, so we don't go to there. That's enough, I think. So then we go to 37. It's finished, right? 37. Oh, 27, sorry, 27. I already used 37, 37. To Buddhists who want the virtue, those who are like a precious treasure, therefore towards cultivate precious without hostility. This is practice of Bodhisattvas. That's the practice of patience. So we need object of practice of patience. Okay, so next is go to joyful effort. Seeing even hearers and solitary realizers who accomplish only their own good. So this, seeing even hearer and solitary realizer is not Bodhisattva. So that's our core. Another Buddhist, we have 3 yanas called Hinayana tradition, Mahayana tradition, Vajrayana tradition. And Hinayana tradition means like not thinking about others that much. Only they want to liberate themselves. So sometimes I'm Hinayana. It's everyday change actually. Sometimes I get courage. Good condition comes, and I want to have others. But sometimes no good conditions, like I only want to liberate myself. So that's of course, hearers and solitary realizer means only want to be themselves. They don't want to go with like people, public, and do things and sharing things. They just wanted to be solitary and meditate, practice. They wanted to liberate from samsara, suffering. So we can be either way. Sometimes we can be Bodhisattva. Sometimes we can follow them too. I always change. I think you also change too. Yeah, and so here this practice is a Bodhisattva practice. So Ngurchu told me who composed this text. He's a Bodhisattva. So he say, okay, this is hearers and the solitary realizer who accomplish only their own good, right? Only my benefit. I want enlightened. Strive to put all the fire on their heads for the sake of all beings. So this these hearers and the solitary realizers, actually, they're only thinking about them to enlightened liberation. They put so hard effort. And then we are Bodhisattvas, so if they do this so much effort, we have to do more effort than them. Do you understand? So that's the comparing. So someone, only taking care only their home, they put so much hard work, but we say we are going to taking care of whole London city. So then we have to more effort than someone taking care only their own home. Do you understand? So that's example, same. And someone only thinking about this only country, we thinking about the whole world. So then who have to put more effort? See, who has a more bigger, right, job or view, so they have to put more effort. Bodhisattvas have to put more effort. if the solitary realizers, they put so much effort, then why we not going to put effort? Their goal is only their liberation. Our goal is we wanted to have other beings. We wanted to liberate every single being. So it's big difference. And that's why we have to see what it says, make it enthusiastic effort, the source of all good qualities. So we're going to have benefit others, liberating others. We have to put more effort than these solitary realizers. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas, and called joyful effort. Joyful effort is when we do the spiritual practice, we need joyful effort. Without joyful effort, and not possible to successful our practice. So we have enough effort for worldly activity. All these people think about how many people live in the London city. How many millions? 7, 10, 20? I don't know. No one knows here, okay? Everybody looking the phone. Okay, 10 million people. So they all put effort because everybody have to survive, right? They put so much effort. The all effort is worldly activity. And this effort is not worldly activity. This effort is for called spiritual practice effort. So, we have to enthusiasm, enjoy, happy to do, happy to meditate, happy to practice, happy to very happy, joyfully create generosity and kind, loving practice. So that's called the joyful effort, bodhisattvas. 29 is wisdom. Understanding that disturbing emotions are destroyed by special insight with the common abiding. Cultivate concentration, which surpasses the four formless absorptions. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So, this wisdom, and first, like we talked already, generosity, morality, participation, joyful effort, and then the four of them is called method, and then last two is called wisdom. Meditation and wisdom is called wisdom part. And number 5 is this, I think, sixth perfection is number 5. Understanding disturbing emotions. So we have so much afflictive emotions. So then that's why we have to use like Komo abiding meditation, Vipassana meditating. We have to release or purify our emotions using this practice meditate. So I think you know the shamatha meditation, right? Shamatha is a very simple one. Shamatha meditation, you focus with the object, mind resting with the object, or mind resting with the breath. So then when your mind resting with the object, your eye have to get the object. Your eye have open very softly. Your body also need, balance. Cannot be too tight, cannot be too loose. So it's more balance. Get the object resting mind. And if your mind stay with the focus with the object, stay like 10-20 minutes, your mind become calm down, relax, and the thoughts all naturally release, go somewhere, gone. And then you can use like focus with the breath. Focus with the breath is so first, like you can focus with the gross level breath, in here and exhale, in here, exhale. But that just release your stress out, and you become more relaxed. But still not enough, like you focus with the gross level breath. You have to go more subtle level breath when you meditate shamatha. So subtle level breath is like inside your body moving. breathe. It's not really going to inhale and exhale. So your mind resting like with inside your breath moving. And if you focus that resting, then you get very peaceful and joy is arising in your mind. So that's called shamatha meditation. Okay, take time to get the experience, not easy. And when you get the experience, then you know meditation benefit because you have your own experience. And then go to, here says another special insight meditation. Special insight is called vipassana. So vipassana meditations I already share here. The 22nd, we already talked, the 22nd verses. So that is vipassana. 22nd is whatever appears is your own mind. Your mind from the start was free from fabricated extremes. Understand this, do not take to mind inherent sense of subject and object. This is the practice of Bodhisattva. So the 22nd, that is called special insight meditation. No, you don't using object, external object, and you don't using your breath. You just watch your mind, means like using your awareness, watching into your own mind. And then you're seeing your own mind. So that's why called special insight. Seeing, you see your mind. Called special insight meditation. It's called komo bade. So if you use the practice, then cultivate concentration, which is surpassing the four formless absorptions. Absorption means you don't seeing your own nature. Absorption means you just observing, like you're not hearing the song, you don't seeing the object, and you don't have these five senses. Just you observing, like actually block the five senses. And if you do that meditation, you cannot enlighten. You only go to this formless realm, means like no highest level realm is called formless realm. Only reach that level. So that cannot go to enlightened. That's why you have to use this komo abiding special insight meditation. We have to go beyond the formless absorptions. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. Then number 30 is wisdom. Since the five perfections without wisdom cannot bring perfect enlightenment. So, and this one is called wisdom. So we have generosity with wisdom. When you do generosity, you have to go with wisdom together. So when generosity with wisdom is like whatever you giving, sharing is, you have to recognize emptiness. No subject, no object, no actions. Everything you recognize emptiness, then that really helps you. You don't have expectations. And free from, expectation. So, we know right now in the giving things, like worldly level giving things have some expectation. Expectation giving things is also, of course, create good karma, good merit, but not taking to enlightenment. It's only go to higher realms. And you free from these expectations and giving things emptiness. So that means generosity with wisdom. So the point is here says like wisdom is followed by all these other perfections. Then other perfections become causes of enlightenment. So that's why since the five perfections, generosity, practice morality, patience, joyful effort, meditation. That's called five perfections. Without wisdom, without the last one, recognize emptiness. Wisdom is knowing everything's emptiness. It's called wisdom. Cannot bring perfect enlightenment. So without wisdom, cannot enlightenment. Enlightenment is emptiness. Emptiness is not nothingness, okay? So we have sometimes how to say the words misunderstand, because we don't have other words to share emptiness. It's sometimes called wisdom emptiness. It's no emptiness. It's I don't have a coffee inside here. It's empty, right? So not that way emptiness. Okay. This cup is empty. Emptiness is a cup. Cup is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than cup. The seeing form is empty. Emptiness is a seeing. Seeing is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than seeing. So that's called wisdom. And so other perfections cannot go to a higher level, because still you have a subject and object. Still we have a dualistic concepts. So wisdom means like then beyond the dualistic concepts. So go to the no drawer. No drawer. Do you understand, right? No drawer means like no subject, no object. So when you meditate, sometimes you recognize that short moment, sometimes we get experience. So you be in your mind nature, look into your own nature mind, and then you, even everything is there, but your mind is not really picking up, no fixation, anything. This object is, you don't, mind is no follow that. Your mind is be on nature states, your own states. So it's called no door. So that's called wisdom. So without that, cannot enlightened. Enlightenment means like we have to go back onto our own nature states, and you create dualistic concepts. Then that means we're not going into our own nature states. So wisdom is like going into our own nature states. Means cultivate wisdom which does not conceive the three spheres as rare. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Three spheres is subject, object, actions. Three of them is become oneness, not separate. So that's called the free from three spheres. If you have a subject, object, actions, then you have separate. That means dualistic, conceptual. And you are free from the subject, object, actions, then that is called no drawer. You know, no, you don't create dualistic concepts. 32. 31, sorry. Thank you. Sometimes I skip like sections yesterday. I have many police inside in the zone, so when they can talk, you know, then they're going to get me. Here, so 31, you say something? What is 34? Yes, same, yeah. This 31 is so we have to examine ourselves. This is we have to use for our own police. Okay, we need our own police. Otherwise, always we police for others all the time. So also we need our own police. It doesn't matter you are in the bedroom, you are in the living room, you are in the car, in the, you know, wherever you are. So we need our own police. If you don't examine your own errors, you may look like a practitioner but not act as one. So we have to always examine ourselves. We have to watch our speech. We have to watch our body and mind. So we have to examine ourselves. Therefore, always examine your own errors. We have to recognize our own problems, you know, then we can change it. So if we don't recognize our problems, we always pointing others' problem, then we cannot change ourselves. Sometimes other people don't want to pointing us our own problems. We have to recognize our own problems. It's very important, I think. You know, everybody is very nice, kind. They don't want to say our problems, right? So we have to know and you know our own problem and use this practice. Therefore, always examine your own errors. Own errors. Rid yourself of them. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. We have to know our own problem. Otherwise, we look like practitioner, but not really practitioner. We think it's like we are Bodhisattva, but not really Bodhisattva. True Bodhisattvas, they're examining their own, you know, problem. They recognize their wake or problems, then they change. Bodhisattva actually doesn't no pointing others' problems, errors. And I think everyone's Bodhisattva, they're no pointing, you know, others, right? So that's the reason we have to know our own problems. Then we know that we have to change, you know, knowing also no benefit. If we know our own problem, then we have to get rid of our problems. Then we have become Bodhisattva. What time is? Okay, so I have to go fast. And 30 seconds. If through the influence of disturbing emotions, you point out the force of another Bodhisattva, you yourself are diminished. So don't mention the force of those who have entered the great vehicles. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So sometimes we like to, you know, say others' problem, right? And so sometimes we have like create habituate saying others' problems, talk about others, very happy to say things, you know, for others. We don't examine ourselves. So if we're saying others' problem all the time, we don't looking our own problem, then it's become big problem. See, if through the influence of disturbing emotions, that is our emotion and our maybe attachment or jealousy or pride. That's why we pointing others, point out the faults of others, Bodhisattva. You yourself are diminished, so that really diminish our qualities. Then that diminish our maybe love is diminished, compassion is diminished. So don't mention the faults of those who have entered the great vehicles, especially who practice the Dharma and who doing some good things, don't pointing their problems. I think we have to look their qualities. You know, everyone has a like positive and negative two sides, right? So we have to always look to positive others, not judge for negative one. And so if we think others positive, then very easy to make friend. If we judge others as negative, very hard to connect with other people. So if you looking always negative way, then we not happy with others all the time. And we look others positively, and then very happy be with them, joy with them. If you have something problems also others, you're really easy to let go. Because something we holding, you know, unhappy with someone, looking to, you know, others negative way, then you create the strong, and then, you know, we more sad, more not happy. I mean, it's you looking to quality way, and then you can release that feeling. So that's why we have to look others' quality is very important. So helps also release out something holding in your mind. You know, if you have some issues with your friend, and then you think about their positive quality, and naturally you release your holding something in your mind. If you have like your parents or your sister, brother, anyone you have, you know, friends, like you have problems with them, and if you look more the negative way, and you get more upset. If you wanted to change, you look there positively, kind, love. And also there sometimes they have their own problem due to their own emotions. So then you think more forgiveness. And so you look them positive side, and then your all holding negative side or unhappy is naturally gone. Really, it's very powerful too, using that way. So that's why we have to look positive way. Don't judge with others much, just we recognize, but always look positive is important. Then go to 33. Reward and respect cause us to quarrel and make hearing, thinking, and meditation decline. For this reason, give up attachment to the householders of friends, relations, and benefitors. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. And some just attached to, respect. And also the benefactor is like the sponsors or benefactors. So that's create attachment. So that's why here is this suggestion is for also spiritual teachers, and the spiritual teacher like also have to recognize this important. And then of course you also think like you have some expectation, something. So think these verses helps, release the holding something negative. No create causes of suffering. No create negative karma. For this reason, give up attachment to the householder of friends, relations, benefit. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. The point is no attachment. The 34. Harsh words disturbing the minds of others and cause distraction in a bodhisattva's conduct. So if we're saying bad words and disturbing minds of others and causes distraction in a bodhisattva's conduct. So then that is like become against bodhisattva's conduct. If we are saying harsh words for others. Therefore give up harsh words which are unpleasant to others. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So we also give up harsh words for others, and also we hearing harsh words from others. Then we have to recognize that words is emptiness. So same is ego. And then the harsh words not really disturbing your heart, your mind. I think it's not strong. They don't have much power. The harsh words no power. Actually, we create harsh words very powerful. Someone saying harsh words, and due to our self-grasping fixation, we create that words is warping and destroy our happiness. Yeah. So the bodhisattvas, when they hear the voice, harsh words, then their words is they recognize emptiness. It seems echoes, and then the words is become no warping. And words is just empty, like no any power. Do you understand? So if that's we also have to think like if you cultivate that thing, it's really helpful. And if someone tell you something harsh words, you can't get sleep. The words is play again in your ear, and then here is so much thoughts, and here is anger arise, heart is beating, and you can't sleep, right? Because words that is we create so strong warping and destroy our own happiness. So the words, someone harsh words is like you meditate is thing. It is words is emptiness. Hearing song is empty. Emptiness is song. Song is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than song. So then the song no power. So someone shoot a rocket. Rocket is like naturally die in the sky. You don't have to shut down. I think same, like someone saying harsh words, you don't take that, right? Just you meditate, recognize the song, words is emptiness, echo. And then that don't hurt you. You can go sleep easy. You don't create anger. You don't lose your happiness. So still you can maintain your joy and happy. You are still peaceful, right? So other words not destroy your happiness. So that's also, it's up to us actually. We cannot stop all the harsh words. Someone stop harsh words, another person going to say harsh words. So we cannot stop the harsh words, but we can not holding their words. And then it's release itself, I think. So that's the thing, this verses. Then of course we don't say harsh words for others because we recognize harsh words disturbing our own mind and no nice, no happy, no good. So the fear that recognize our own experience, we don't say harsh words for others. Otherwise, lose the Bodhisattva's conduct. Now we go to 35. 35 is habitual disturbing emotions are hard to stop. So it's our emotions become already habituate, very hard to stop. The fire is already become bigger, very hard to stop. And the fire is arising very small, then you can stop, right? You can kill the fire easy. Same, emotions become strong and hard to stop. So habitual disturbing emotions are hard to stop through contractions, hard to find solutions. So when we get small problems, and then that moment you have to find a solution for stop your small problems. Otherwise your problems go bigger and bigger, then no solutions. So same is like war. Actually, it's like very small problems first, like maybe you just thoughts, bring you something into thoughts. And then that goes bigger and bigger, and then war, and then no solutions, so much suffering, people, right? So same. And our situation also, like sometimes we have a small tiny problems, then we make really big problem, and then no solutions. Then we die. So that's why, when small problem arise, recognize, find a solution is important. When small, tiny, this emotion arise, we have to find a solution. Otherwise, like our emotions are so big and so strong and hard to contractions. Aimed with the antidotes, the guides of mindfulness. So we have to always use mindful, recognize emotions arising, and find a solution for emotion. And the mental alertness and the disturbing emotions, like attachment at once as soon as they arise. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So we have to use our mindfulness and the mental alertness, more sharper one. Mindful is like you watch, but mental alertness is a very sharp focus, I think. So example is like you drive the car, right, on the road, you knowing you drive correct. That's called mindfulness. So then if you drive the car, the area maybe more police in the road, you really need alertness, mental alertness, right? More sharper. And you drive, on the road correctly, okay, so like you driving correctly on the road, but you have to recognize on the road maybe has gang people, right? Is some violence going on, so you need like very careful. So that's called mental alertness, I think. So we watch, mindful emotions, but mental alertness more sharper. recognize. So then that helps. You know, when attachment emotion arise, right moment that you can stop. Soon as they arise, this is the practice of Bodhisattva. You can stop there. Then 36. 36 is the summary. All this 37 practice just bring to one important one. The important section here, summary or conclusion. In belief, see, whatever you are doing, ask yourself. So we have to ask ourselves, or means like watch ourselves. What is the state of my mind? So we have to look to our own mind with the constant mindfulness and the mental alertness. Accomplish others' good. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So using our mindful and alertness, and then our intention is really going to good, like thinking about others' benefit, or only something is due to our my self-grasping, due to my afflictive emotion. So we have to recognize difference. When we're doing something is for our good intention, then we have to do it. If intention is not good, intention is only own benefit, very strong selfish, so then we have to let go. So that's the conclusions of belief. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. The no is the last one. Last one is called dedication. We're doing this today. You're hearing this teaching, and what we're doing this, I'm sharing the teaching. We cultivate this teaching. We can share this, dedicating for the merit or for other beings who don't have this opportunity. We're sharing for others. So also you can share this teaching practices like your loved ones and for others. That's called dedication. It's to remove the suffering of limitless beings. So we wanted to remove the suffering of limitless other beings, understanding the purity of the three spheres. Three spheres is like we already talked. So the dedication is like, no fixation, dedicating for all other beings. So actually good is like not specifically these dedications might benefit. Okay, for good is like just for others, then that is already enough. If without Mahamudra meditation, we call emptiness realization, very hard to do dedicate free from three spheres. It's not really possible to do because without realization. And our capacity or just ability is like this teaching, practice, sharing for others, wanted to share, benefit others. That's enough. Three spheres dedicated the virtue from the making such effort to enlightenment. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. The four, all those wanted to train on the Bodhisattva's path. So I have writing the 37 practice of Bodhisattvas. So he said, he wrote this one, Bodhisattva, following what has been said by the excellent ones on the meaning of the sutra and the tantra and the treatise. So he said, when he wrote this, he has good intention, no intention benefit himself. So he has good intention. That's why he composed this one. Following being said, the excellent ones on the meaning of sutra and tantras and treatise, though not particularly pleasing to scholar, so owing to my poor intelligence and the lack of learning. So he reduce his like, you know, the Nurchi told me he's reduce his ego. He's humble, you know, he sharing his humble. He said, I don't have knowledge, I don't have good writing like poetry, but he said, I take this everything from the Buddha's teaching. Excellence, so Bodhisattvas practice without error, though not particular, I think, okay. I have relied on the sutra and the words of the excellence. So means he rely on the Buddha's teaching. So I think this Bodhisattva practice are without error. So he think this is no error, and he didn't have knowledge. He said he don't have a practice learning that much, but he take all these teachings from the Buddhas. So that's why he think no error. However, as the great deeds of Bodhisattvas are hard to fathom for one of my poor intelligence, I beg the Excellent to forgive faults such as contradiction and non-sequiturs. Okay, so see, you know, Dharma teaching that these spiritual teachers, they never say, I did a good job, right? I am the best one. So that's the politician always say, I can't do, I'm the best among others. So that's realize the Dharma practitioners always humble. And even they realize it, they don't say I'm realized. Even they are enlightened, they don't say I'm enlightened. So through the virtue from this may all living beings gain the automatic and even conventional artistic intention, and thereby become like the protector Chinrezek, who dwell in the nether extreme, not in the world nor in peace. So this was writing for his own and others' benefit by the monk Tommy, exponent of sculpture and reasoning in a cave in Ngurchirinchin. So cave in Ngurchirinchin, so he wrote in the cave. Inside the cave is where he stay. So this person is always stay in the caves. First, he is a monastery. It's very high education. He's a teacher. So then he slowly went to in the mountain. He meditated in the caves. So I shared yesterday. You know, when he be in the mountain, nature place, all the animals, nature, I mean the many animals, wild animals, be with him together. So that's a sign of the Bodhisattva, because his energy can, you know, loving kind, and also animals also received. So that's the Bodhisattva practice. We finish your whole thing. Thank you all your patience. Afternoon sharing teachings is not easy, but you put really effort, hard, and all you waking up, no one sleep. That's amazing. Transmission. Oh, okay. So I do the transmission because today and also some know yesterday here. If you are all beginning to end in the teaching, actually you have transmission received already. So going to do transmission first. Jarse lali sabdema yozo namaloga joraya kagajen ro mesejan ro vedola chita zeba loma chita jira singola da gozon kebe sanzo lo bene jene zoba sanjena amji doble sonde de ane de lali chila rale be jese namne lali chibarza dam jiro ro jinya gatu de da jinko solo da sera ni dan se yo am bane ni so ko jese lali yen ni so lon da cha da yo dai so la cheta me dam ba lan do ji bet mo mana je ba yo bo jese lali yen yung ba ni mo ram je de na yem be ko jong ba ba da ma chila ngi je ba de ma jese lali yen yo no ban do so da better ben norze short le jeno gana shi no bo se de lo da jese lali yen ko da no to so ba je yen de sang ba so ni je be san da ni je ba jese be ro ngi bo jese lali yen 강제 때나 니바스 조전 용인데 양고 다단 표저 왜 신이 더 바른 걸 외장 지 바른 심바 저세 라lên 라양 거서 라지 마양 거 이데 라여서 저번에 대세 강라 점나 말레 거 저러 저서 라lên 양 신도 그거서 동안 나데 벌레 전데 버서 대서 살아 버제 벌레 나 야마 저서 라lên 식som 대와 짜시 서바 연요 잠제 건 지부 진연 나 야마 저 거 마 저도 나 야마 저서 라lên 도메네 달아 저와 제마나 동나란데 제자 대선 다예 셈제 다르서 산초 셈제 저세 라lên 동아 말레 다덴 도레 손 조버 산제 진빈선 렌론 대서 다데 진저 동아다 양다 저와 저서 라lên Sadando Jiwanga Dakan or Tamja Togan Totan Jonaya Lila Lonjo de Songavana de Lango Jazela Lane Dala Niba Juzimina Katadango Juzena Ninjawanga de Bona Dalam Dala Lemba Jersela and Yanga Dala Mina Sobato Jova Doversena Yasamba Samjalaya Deni. Yondin Juba Jersela and Romandes Vizanga Jagasan and the Jasingin Nana Dela Gavich and the Jagaba Jazela and Dagabaja or Jabama. Dala da yenda varasina ya neje da bebalama yenda labarzewa jersela yan danya mame beche oyanga jer wanganye da sena ya lama yenda ke bedani jihola ma jersela yan so webong yeda da maye nye sa jinde da donje da jala ndo ke do dala le se chen shom ba jersela yan nye ma da romang je we do nam de ba ya non ra top jer jang se ba bam jer nyim bo mi se ne ke ma jersela yan rang ke je dang da wo ma do na so do do yen pe wan jo Tesa samdang nyingji ma bonga ranjun durwa jerse langlin ya yin yo be yonde lense jadang da jizang ji jerse ban bo ranjo galang yi je wen gwa na dala bo wa jerse langlin ya jadang na wan de da rang ga san san yi dong de zhe ben da dang de de ni jin de zong zeng sema na ye la me ze jerse langlin ya yi dong yo dang de ba na ya ji jin ja so yin da ziban na yan de ba me da yin xin ya bo wa jerse langlin ya dong na zo mo lang bu xie da rang ngang dang ba zong a tang che Tesa men teng ji na tre be zen tre war ta wa jerse langlin ya rang jo de be le jan tang ge na so rong bo na la mu ji Tesa linda na membre jima tonga jerse langlin yan zera mina rando mo na jino do ban do ba ke mene tesa se bande ba me ba yisran so jerse langlin gebe longjun de be jerse lan ne ji tam jarin chi ta dang tesa ke la chen de me ba yu so ba ko ba jerse langlin yan rando ma yu do ba ni rang ya gola me shor do da song do na do gen de yong de yong de je so ne so ba jerse langlin yan chen rab de ba lam no ge ni mon na ma ji ba chi zen de so mi je la yan da de ba ye sam ni ko ba jerse langlin shiram mana paro singa ye zo ba san ju to ba mene ba ta de jin ko so mo da be shira ko ba jerse langlin yan rang do wa rang ma da na chi be so ji chi mi se se be tesa ju na rang to wa la ta na po ma jerse langlin ni mo wang jerse jin da ni ba le na dan ni nyam jer we thi ba che la chu ba kan sa ni ba ma na jerse langlin ni ko wang be zo zo yo yen de sang ko ba sa wa nyam jer we sa chi chen da jin da chen la che ba po ma jerse langlin ni zo mo se ga ran san thu gyor chen Java se je je nyam da be de zo jin ji de mo ma de zo ba ma jerse langlin ni mo ko na ni mo do ga ba de ye je ni mo so so na che so ni mo da bo ji ma da mo je se ba jerse langlin na ko da jo lang ji se je rang ge sam je ne ga jin da ji ju na de na xi je de ba ye yin do ba jerse langlin de da zo ba de ba ge wan na da yin do ba de nga sa se Kosum number the Vichero, Sanyu, Jasan, and the Judan, Alison, Daman, Jason, Jason, and Jalan, some Jadan, Jason, and London to go. Lord, me, Jang Jamba, Chung, Western Keba, Jibet, your manji, and other Amazon, Jasan, and Remy Laversen. Unjang Jarse, Chuba, Lapchin, Lomidan, Timakavas, and Garda Mandela, so you was Otaman, and Jisoban, the Soro, Telesom, and Rogan, to Nakusa, and you said that she went Dalamane, Chinese, and go to Tansoba, Jiman, the Jena Payment on the Londa Ripan, now, Tuma, Tommy, Chinguchi, Rinchipo, the Jarwa, Sancho Zemjo Rumbo Jema Jiba Nanji Jurje Jiba Nyamba Meba Yang Kong Ni Gong Den Pe Wara Yo Sonam De Ye Dam Je Ziba Nye Dom Na Nye Be Dana Bam Ze De Jiga Nanji Ba Long Juba Siben Zo Len Do Wa Do Wara Yo Jam Para Ba We Jia Daran Chen Ba Dan Ken De Zambo De Yan De De Da Ken Je Ji Se Da Lo Jen Ge Wan De Da Dam Je Rab De Ngo Okay, so now we finish here, and so you have some to share, sing mantra, yantra yogi. Yes, here. Question. Do you have questions here? No, right? Say no. Okay. I think no questions here, so now you can share something. No questions on Zom Sangha, right? Oh, in the Zom has a question. So I have to how to do this one. Okay, join with. Can you hear? Did you have a question? Oh, he can.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah, thank you for the teaching. But I have a question. Many times, many times the word wisdom appears. I don't understand the absolute meaning of wisdom. And verse 30 really brought it to fruition, if you will, the question. You mentioned wisdom is emptiness. And I'm looking and I'm saying, well, I don't understand wisdom to begin with, but if wisdom is emptiness, how do I cultivate wisdom?
Oh, it's echo. Maybe can you change something there? Okay. Okay. So wisdom has a couple different levels, and relative truth wisdom is our, study, knowing what is right, what is wrong. That's called relative truth wisdom. So today, like all these 37 this is wisdom because we know, how to generate a love and compassion. We knowing like how to protect ourselves, right? When anger arises, how to release anger. So that's all is called wisdom. Then absolute truth wisdom is you meditate, like we have to bring like own experience through our own meditation, really not sharing to labeling words. Absolute truth wisdom is. So, Mahamudra meditation, same. When you meditate Mahamudra is beyond the words and beyond the concept. So that's why we don't have put in the words to share something. It's all relative truth wisdom we can share, we can talk, we can cultivate. But absolute truth wisdom is arising from our own meditation practice. So I think that's okay, DG.
So are you saying that the cultivation in Mahamudra is just to continue meditating?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's what you're saying, that's good. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so then next question is, I think, Laming or no?
When you were talking about our enemy become our friend, and you can realize that I have an experience with I am dog sitting with cat and dog, 4 of them. Everyone has special leg, and they drove me crazy. They were barking and meowing and meowing, and I gave them food, whatever they want, I gave them, but still not happy. And to a point, I almost want to kill them all. I suddenly, in that frustration state, I realized how difficult it was for my father, raising a very, very intelligent kid, but cannot communicate because I was very mute when I was small. I have stuttered, so I didn't speak. And I suddenly realized when my father facing me when I was a little child, how frustrated a young man without a wife and to raise a very intelligent but difficult child. I start to say to my father, he passed away a long time ago. I said, I'm sorry, Papa. Now I understand how frustrated you were when you were raising me. And then suddenly it become all these cat and dog become my teacher.
Oh, wow.
Taught me the true understanding of my father. And I didn't try to say my father was wonderful. He was not. He's a jerk. And he was very difficult. And he tried to kill me several times. But during that time when I'm facing the 4 dog and cat, and I am a Buddhist, I practiced for many years. I still couldn't deal with that kind of barking and meowing. And I understood how frustrated my father was. And then this little dog and cat become my teacher, my Bodhisattva teacher. And then I truly make a confession to my father and say, I'm sorry, Papa. I'm really sorry. I must be a difficult child. But that doesn't forgive his behavior, but it let go of my heart. Then I let go of my anger with my father in some way. And then I ask his forgiveness, truly from my heart to ask his forgiveness. And that's what I try to say is that maybe something really difficult situation happen. If we really go deeply inside our heart and be mindful about it, then we may be able to understand the Bodhisattva vow and the Bodhisattva practice is, to me, is by understanding. Because many teachers told me, you have to confess. Many teachers told me you have to do this and that, be grateful. It didn't touch my heart, but at that moment, it touched my heart. That's my experience.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing, Laming.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so now we finish. I think you wanted to go, right? People also needed to leave.
Kempo, there's one more question.
Wanted to share. Question,
I
can
have
you
a
do?
question.
Yes.
Well, it's really a comment. You said to deal with anger, you need to meditate. But I find that when I get, sit down and meditate on anger, it just disappears. I can't find it. I'm looking all over for it. I like to deal with anger as it happens. I watch the anger rise and I use patience until it leaves. And then I do other things. So I think these 37 Bodhisattva practices are guidelines, because sometimes you just have to be harsh with people. Like if you know someone that's dealing meth and they're dealing other drugs, meth and fentanyl and all that, and that, they don't have any problem with killing somebody in order to keep dealing their drugs, and you know them, you got to tell them. You can't say, well, I can't use harsh words. You can use compassion and pray for them with compassion, but so I think these are guidelines mainly. And I just wanted to say my favorite one is number 27. I love number 27.
Great, you found something there. Wonderful, thank you. So now we finish, no questions. So we don't have time. Thank you. Tashidala, everyone. Okay.
Thank you.
谢谢，辛苦了，新翻
Wanted
译
to
辛苦
hear
了。
this voice here is you can stay. Tashidala.
谢那么亲，那么亲，那么亲，大西德勒，就是谢。
Muchas gracias.
谢谢。
Thank you. Nipe me home. Nipe me home. Nipe me home.
Really have to leave now because
Okay.
we're going to miss
Yes.
us if we don't go.
Okay.
I can't thank you enough for this weekend. It's been
Thank
lovely
you.
to make a connection
Yeah.
with you.
Thanks very much.
So much.
Thank you.
May God bless my father.
Yes.